Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Good Trouble with Minecraft Education Edition lesson coming live to you through the magic of the internet. I am Emily, and I'm just here to let you know that you are not late. You are totally okay if you are still setting up with your teacher or with your other students. We are 5 minutes early, but we just couldn't wait. We have so much fun stuff to go over, and we're going to kick things off with our pre-lesson game show trivia that the ladies here have put together. So if you're still getting your classroom set up, getting logged in, getting students on devices, figuring out the device yourself, helping your student or maybe helping your parent or guardian get set up too, all is okay. You can mute us if you want. We'll be back at the top of the hour to get started. But for the 20 plus classes that are already hanging out with us, we want to test your knowledge. We want to play a little bit of a game show. So I'm going to hand things over to your fabulous hosts of the game show today, Felisa and Natasha. It's all yours.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're joining us. I am Felisa Ford, one of your game show hosts, and I have my fabulous game show host.
Hello, everyone. I'm Natasha Rachel.
All right, guys, and we're going to play Name That Person. This is just a quick, fun, interactive game. Oh, and if you look in the chat, you have this link. You're going to give your first name and the answer to the question in this form that we've provided for you. So on your screen, you see this person. Everyone, hopefully you know who this person is. We're starting with an easy one. Can you name that person? And let's see, put your name, or if you're with a class, you can put your class name, your teacher's name, and give us the name. Who is this person?
All right, Felisa, I have the responses pulled up, and I am waiting for those responses.
All right. We can't wait.
And we have started with an easy one for you today. Again, you're just going to go ahead and click on that link or enter that link in, and you're just going to enter in your first name. With that first name, you'll have a second line there that you can go ahead and drop your response. So hopefully this is a little bit of an easier one coming in for you. We are just going to test your knowledge a little bit. Your teachers should have done a little bit of pre-work, or your parents, guardians should have done a little bit of pre-work with you prior to these lessons that we're going to go over this week. And so hopefully some of these people that we're going over with you today will be a little bit familiar. So I see that Miss Wheeler's class, I'm sorry, I'm not going to mess up your name. Let me start over and get my bearings together. Dulansa from Miss Wheeler's class has responded. We have Shashan Bhatti from another class. We have Melanie has also responded. So I see all of your amazing responses coming in, and they have all responded with the correct answer, and that is Justin Trudeau.
All right. Very good. We started off with someone close to you. Now let's keep it moving. Hopefully you were introduced to the Good Trouble lessons, and if not, it is totally okay. You can just take a wild guess. This is just fun. We're friends here. So we have a young version of this person and an older version of this person. This person is from the United States and really from the South. Born in Alabama, but moved to Atlanta, and that's where he lived the rest of his adult years. Can someone name this person? This person you'll see all throughout the Good Trouble world. He's really going to be your guy.
We still had a few people popping in with correct answers for Justin Trudeau. So while we're waiting for this response to come in, I just want to shout out that we had Cade and Elto and Jack and Tarani and Caleb and Sandra. I see your responses answering Justin Trudeau. So we see you. Congratulations for getting that one correct. So as we are waiting to see who knows who this amazing person is that is on your screen here. Again, just like Felisa said, this is the person that's going to be your tour guide through these Good Trouble lessons that we're going to take you through today.
And this person, Natasha, in his adult life, he was a member of our Congress in the United States, which is the same as your parliament there in Canada. So just that's a tip about this person, so that may be a little hint for you.
I see some good answers and guesses coming in. I see a lot of correct answers, and I see some good guesses. So I see I see a few people have guessed Martin Luther King. So that's a good guess, but not quite. I see a lot of people have said that this is John Lewis. So I see Sandra, and I see Madam Alexandra. I see Alexandra. I see Argha and Sharuthi have all said John Lewis. So congratulations. This is Congressman John Lewis.
All right, all right. So moving on to the next person. We are now leaving the US, we're leaving Canada, and we are going to Pakistan. So this person is a little younger in age, and she started out being an activist when she was probably some of your age, a teenager, young teenager. And she fought and continues to fight for education rights for girls. So who is this person? There have been a lot of books about her. She's written books. She's won, I believe, a Nobel Peace Prize as an activist. So this goes to show that you don't have to be famous. None of these people were famous. They were ordinary people who did amazing and extraordinary things, just like all of us. So that lets us know we all can do amazing things. We all can get into good trouble.
Lisa, we have people with quick fingers. Shashvati was our first response to come in with the correct answer. We have Lakita from Miss Wheeler's class. We have Nayali from Miss Wheeler's class as well. I apologize if I am not saying your names correctly. They have all responded with Malala. So yes.
I see that. Miss Wheeler's class is on it. Oh my goodness. You guys had breakfast or lunch or something. You are on it. Quick hands.
Nevaeh and Robbie also, I see your responses. William, Miss Wheeler's class is on it today. Miss Wheeler's, Nevaeh, we have William, we have Tirani, we have Dolansa, we have Sandra from Miss Alexandra's class. So we see all of your responses coming in.
All right, and did they have that right answer?
They did, yes ma'am.
Very good, all right. And our next person, we're moving back to Canada. This person was an advocate for good trouble. She stood up for others. She is probably near and dear to, she's an integral part of Canadian history. Does anyone know this? I think she may have her picture on something that you guys use, not quite sure. Take a look at the screen. Let's see who this person is. And she was from Nova Scotia, if that helps.
I love the way you say Nova Scotia, Felisa.
And look, that's that Southern drawl, you know, that's that Southern dialect.
I love it. All right, let's see those responses coming in. This person is going to be near and dear to those of you in Canada that know who this person is. Oh, let's see. Sandra from Miss Alexandra's class has already chimed in with the correct answer. Before I give it away, I want to see who else has come in with the correct answer.
Oh, I would love to know what grade level, like Miss Alexandra's class or Miss Wheeler's class, what grade, if a student can put their name and what grade they're in, that would be great.
Yeah, so, I also see we have some more responses. Alexandra, Abhim, yes, Elizabeth have all commented with the correct answer. This is Viola Desmond. So yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Very good. All right. All right, we're coming back to the United States. We're going to the South and we are going to Alabama. This woman, look around to see, get clues. Looks like she may be on a bus. Does anyone know who this person is? And if not, you will get to meet her today. And it looks like we'll meet her on a bus that looks just like this.
Let's see. I see we still have some responses coming in about Viola Desmond, a lot of comments coming in. So I see you. I want to recognize those correct answers that we have. Delansa, Nicole, and Lena, and Cade, and Alexandra, and Caleb, and Eldo. Melanie, we see your correct responses. Thank you, thank you. And Alexandra from Miss Alexandra's class. Robbie, Gulsana, Caleb, Latika, Ariella, I feel like I'm on a game show.
We are. We're on the Good Trouble game show.
All right, Raven, you guys are on it today. Yes.
And guys, as we go through, I hope you can make these connections. You see how what all these people have in common? They were from all over, but they all did amazing things. They were ordinary people who did extraordinary things, standing up for the rights of others, standing up for what's right. All right, our next person.
Lisa, who is this?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. This is Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks. So you'll learn a little bit about her today. You'll get to meet her, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
All right, we're moving back to Canada. We have this person is a politician. She was an educator and an activist. She stood up for the rights of many people. So Black History Month in Canada, we can attribute a lot of that to legislation that she helped to get passed. So who is this person?
All right, let's see. I know we have some people that are just joining because those responses are coming in just a little delayed, which is fine. We have not actually gotten started with the lesson yet. We are playing like a little pre-game just to see, kind of to get you guys acclimated with how we are running things. So that is okay. We are just waiting to see if anyone knows who this amazing person is here. I think this might be the hardest one. This might be fun. This may be in our session this morning. This was the one that kind of stumped some people. So I'm curious.
But then we did get some that answered it right. And that is, so we have some correct answers. This is Jean Augustine. All right. We see you guys. Thank you so much for that. We have people of Miss Wheeler's class. Absolutely. Elizabeth, 7th grade, Miss Wheeler's class. Thank you so much for that. All right, we have more answers coming in. All right, let's see. And I think this may be our last one. Oh, we didn't give the name. This is Jean Augustine. I forgot to give the name. This is Jean Augustine. Very good. All right, and for our last, oh, not our last person. We are back in the United States. You'll get to meet this person today too in the Good Trouble world. He is from the South. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's where he lived most of his life. He was a preacher, and they called him Doctor. Well, who is this person?
Civil rights activist. He, Felisa and I, the school district where we work, he went to school in the school district where we work, and he actually walked the hallways. We walked the same hallways that he walked in that school building. Somebody named him earlier. Okay, John, I see your response.
I see him. I see Miss Wheeler's class, Miss Alexandra's class. I wonder if Mrs. Wheeler and Mrs. Alexander are social studies teachers. They sound like they may be near and dear to my passion because their kids are on it.
Yes, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., you guys are on it. Good job.
All right, and for our last one, this person influenced Dr. King and his approach to nonviolence protests. We are in India now. That's where this person lived, and he got into good trouble in India, fighting for poor people and other people's rights. Who is this person? He influenced Dr. King with his nonviolence protest.
He definitely believed in nonviolence and peace. We'll give you bonus points if you can guess his first and last name.
Right, he had India get their independence.
Yes. I think everybody will know. Oh, Miss Wheeler's class again.
Oh my goodness.
Send a prize to Miss Wheeler and Miss Alexandra's class. You guys are on it.
Absolutely. I would love for a student from Miss Wheeler's class to tell me what Mrs. Wheeler teaches you. What subject does Mrs. Wheeler teach? Because you guys know this. Oh my goodness.
And they gave us a first and last name. So bonus points, Mahatma Gandhi. Absolutely.
Very good. All right, guys. Thank you so much. If you're just joining us, you are not too late. We were just playing a game of Name That Person, but welcome to the Lessons in Good Trouble. We are going to take you on a journey today, and are we ready to get started? I guess we are. I guess I can keep going. We are going to take you on a journey through time. All right, so make sure that you have a few things with you. You're going to need a passport because we're going on a virtual field trip today, guys. We're traveling all over the world, so we want you to be safe, buckle up. We are your tour guides. I am Felisa Ford, and I have my fabulous co-worker, facilitator, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Natasha Rachel, and I'm also going to be with you on this virtual field trip around the world today. We are going to be jet setting. We're going around in first class. We're going to be transporting all around the world. I don't think you guys are ready for what's in store for you today.
Absolutely, guys. So let's go ahead and get started.
All right, so we would just like to take a moment to acknowledge that we are on land that does not belong to us. We want to definitely take a moment to just pause and acknowledge that. For our older people in our audience and for our younger people, we want to definitely encourage you to go ahead and visit native-land.ca to do more exploration on the land that you live on. Felisa and I acknowledge that we come from the land of the Muskogee people, and we know that this allows us to live, work, and play on the land that we are inhabiting. And so we definitely encourage you to do some research on the land that you are inhabiting and just take a moment to pause and reflect and be thankful and grateful for that opportunity as well.
Thank you for that. All right. Emily, do you want to say anything before we continue?
Sure. Welcome, everybody. I'm Emily from the Cobblestone Collective here with Felisa and Natasha for this awesome virtual Good Trouble lesson. We here at Cobblestone Collective help your teachers, help you utilize tech in the classroom, and that's what makes this so cool. We're going to talk social justice. We're going to talk all sorts of different pieces inside Minecraft. Now, I know we've got some gamers out there who play Minecraft. I know of things like zombies and digging and like flying. That's about where my knowledge lands. And I'm so excited that we can dive into this world and maybe go a little bit beyond the zombies. Oh, wait, I know there's chickens in there. I've seen there's been chickens. Maybe there'll be chickens today. But we are so excited to be here. Felisa, we're right back to you, love.
All right, thank you so much, Emily. All right, guys, for our plan today, we're going to get to know each other, and we just did a little bit of that. We're going to review some key terms. We're going to show what we know using this interactive form that you have been using. If you're just joining us, there will be a link that you can click on, put your first name. We only want first name so that we can stay safe, and then you will respond to any questions that we ask throughout this lesson. When we get into the Good Trouble world, you're going to stock your inventory, and we're going to take you on a guided tour through Black Lives Matter, Malala and girls' education, apartheid in South Africa, the US Civil Rights Movement, India's fight for independence, and the British suffragettes movement. And then we're going to wrap up and reflect. Now, some of these worlds, we will go a little deeper than others. So we will give you the cue of what you're going to do when we get to each world. But just know that we will be flying and jet setting. So we want to make sure before we get started, though, that most of us have an understanding of some of these terms: social justice movements, activists, activism, and protest. So if you would, click on the link, put your name, and tell us what you think some of these terms mean. And you'll be able to see, we have a picture of a protest in Minecraft that may give you some contextual clues for that. But you probably have had a conversation, and just if you've seen things recently in the world, you know that protests have been a part of how people get change to take place. So let's see, Natasha, do we have any people giving, any students sharing what they know about these movements, social justice movements or activists or activism or protest?
Yeah, so as we are waiting for those responses to come in, feel free to go ahead and use any of those words. You don't just have to do the first one. Go ahead and let us know what your thoughts are on any of those 4 words: social justice movements, activists, activism, or protests. And as you know, if you have been following the news, or if you have had any of these conversations with your friends or with grown-ups in your lives, you know that here in the United States, we have been dealing with a lot of this, definitely over time, but as of most recently in the past year, we've seen a lot of these words just in the news in general. So we're seeing Shosh in grade 7 said social justice is to protect and fight for justice. Alex said that an activist is someone who actively changes something. So you guys have definitely had conversation about around these words and what they mean. Niall said that this is a Black Lives Matter protest, and so that is definitely an image of a Black Lives Matter protest here in this Good Trouble world in Minecraft. So we're definitely going to dive into that. Madison said that protests are when people hold up signs to stop something like Black Lives Matter. Let's see, Noah said that activism means when you are doing something as an activist. Sarah says it's standing up for something that is right. Let's see, Dulcana from Ms. Wheeler's class said a protest is a way of action expressing an objection to something. That's a great definition. Thank you very much. Let's see, tons of responses coming in. Lionel said that protests are something that I love, like Black Lives Matter, because I'm Black and I want to end racism. Lionel, I agree, racism needs to end. Sharuthi says that a protest is when people protest to acknowledge their rights. So tons of responses coming in. I love that you guys are engaging in this conversation, and we just can't wait to dive into more.
So we seem to all understand the terminology that will be used. So I think we are ready to move on. So guys, let's get ready. Are you ready for takeoff? I need to hear. We're going to do a countdown, and I need you to scream and let us know if you're ready for takeoff. Remember, we're in Atlanta, Georgia, so we need to be able to hear you. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Are you ready? I believe we're all ready. Okay, so let's make sure you put your seatbelts on, make sure you have your passport with you, and we are taking off.
Wait, Felicia,
all right.
Wait, where are the emergency exits?
I forgot about that. Oh my goodness, guys, this is only day 2 of me on my job as a flight attendant. All right, so in case of any emergencies, just know you have emergency exits on both sides. There are lights along the pathway if we need it. And if the cabin depressurizes, just know to put your oxygen mask on first before trying to put it on others. So that's where we are. Are we ready? I believe we are, Natasha.
I just have to tell you, Rylan said, let's go. Austin said, we're ready. Dulcana said, take off. Lionel said, ready. Selena said, yes. Eldo said, yeah.
Okay.
He wants to be in first class. So, William, let's go. We're in first
class.
I'm
with you, William. I'm with you. Let's travel first class. So our first stop along our journey, guys, will be to Washington, D.C. in the United States. And then we will move on to Pakistan, and we're going to travel there. So make sure you have enough food. I know the flight attendants will be coming through, giving you snacks, but make sure you have everything you need. Then we're going to take a long flight to South Africa to meet an activist who was instrumental in fighting for change there. Then we'll come back to the United States. We're going to go to Selma, Alabama, and we're going to meet some protesters and activists there who got into a lot of good trouble. And then we'll go to India. And after leaving India, we're going to go to London, England. And we're going to end our journey back in the United States at Black Lives Matter Plaza, where we will do some reflection about what we saw and how we're feeling about some of the people that we met today. But we're going to ask you to make some connections to your world, because that's what's important, making those real world connections. How did some of what these people did, I'm sure you know others in your community, maybe your neighborhood, your region, or your province, who have done similar things or even different things, but they did it on behalf of standing up for what was right for others. So just keep that in mind. All right, so before we get started, this is what you're going to need to have. Make sure you have Minecraft downloaded on your device, and hopefully you can go ahead and start logging in if you have Minecraft on your device. So you can do all of that. And at any time, guys, you can freeze your video if you need to while you're getting logged into Minecraft. We want to make sure we're in Minecraft Education Edition. Also know that the Good Trouble Worlds are available in the Bedrock edition of Minecraft as well. So if you don't have the Education Edition, you can get it. And we tell you how you can get it here as well, using your school email address. All right, to get started, go ahead and sign into Minecraft. And if you look at the red arrow, you will put your email address at this place where it says email, phone, or Skype. We're using our school email address, and that will take you in. And if you're prompted for a password, whatever password you use to get into your school account, that's the same password you would use for Minecraft. You may not have to put it in, but just in case it asks. And so I'll leave that here for just a minute while you guys are starting to log in. And just know we're not officially taking off. We're still, people are putting their luggage up. We're getting settled. So we're going to be here for just a few minutes while people get settled.
And Felisa, while everybody is finding their seats and getting logged in, this is a great time for us to remind kind of how to get in touch with us, because we're just a video on your screen. So students, if you have a question for your flight attendants and tour guides, if you're stuck somewhere or you want to double check something, that's where you're going to use that form that you were playing the game show with. Teachers, families, parents, and guardians, if you are having technical difficulties and need some support, that's where you can use this Teams Live Q&A to connect with me. I'm hanging out behind the scenes to help you with all of those challenges if they arise.
All right. So let's keep moving. All right, so for those of you that have gotten logged in, once you get into Minecraft, we're going to want to click the play button. Look at the yellow arrow on the screen, select the play button, and this is your skin. This is your avatar. Your avatar already has skin.
Really quick, I'm sorry. A couple questions coming from students about how to download Minecraft. If they don't have access to Minecraft yet, can you I know we don't have the screenshots, can you talk them through how to get it from the education portal?
So yes, if you don't have Minecraft, you can go to education.minecraft.net. And once again, that's education.minecraft.net. And when you get on that screen, you will see, it will give you the option to download Minecraft. And you can download it right onto your device that you have. If you have an iPad, if you have an iPad, you can go to the App Store and you can type in Minecraft Education Edition and you can download it there. And then you will log in just like I demonstrated earlier, or showed you earlier, using your school email account and the password. For those of you that are using the consumer version or the Bedrock version, you will go to the Google Play Store or the Microsoft Store, and you would just download the Bedrock version of Minecraft that you have, and you would search for the Good Trouble World. So we are going to go ahead and press play, guys, so we can go ahead and get set up. This if you want to change your skin, but we're not going to spend a lot of time on that because we really need to take off. Let's see. Once you get into the Minecraft world, you are going to go to the world, click View Library. And then you're going to go to the lessons icon. And within that icon, you're going to find the equity and inclusion lesson. And when you get there, you are looking for the lessons in Good Trouble. As soon as you find the lessons in Good Trouble, I want you to go ahead and create a world so that your world can start populating. Because we want to make sure that everyone has their worlds up and ready to go when our pilot gets in the seat, because she's going to be ready to, and she drives fast, guys. So I need to make sure we're all ready. We have our stuff because she's going to take off fast. So follow these steps, view your library, go to the lessons, equity and inclusion is where you will find the lessons in Good Trouble. If you're in the Bedrock version of Minecraft, I think you can type in lessons in good trouble and it may pop up for you that way, but it is definitely there. And while we're on the subject, just know that this Good Trouble lessons, are free until February the 28th for anyone that has the Bedrock version of Minecraft. For the education edition, you have this unlimited. They're unlimited downloads for the Good Trouble world. All right, so we are playing Minecraft in creative mode today. So if you look at the screen, make sure that if you have already pressed play, you should be able to see the settings button, or even before you press play, you can see the settings button. But if you've pressed play already, you can hit the escape key, and then you will see the settings button on your screen. We're going to make sure that we have selected creative mode. This is what will bring it up. If you get to this screen, how to play in settings, click the settings. We're going to make our default game mode creative and our personal game mode creative. And we're going to be peaceful today. And that's because we're on a guided virtual field trip. Now, on your own, you can set these default modes to whatever you want to. But for the sake of our trip today, we want you in peaceful creative mode for all of the activities. All right, so let's keep it moving. I think, Natasha, we may be ready for you because this was the last step. Our pilot is getting in her seat, guys. So I will stop presenting.
All right, let's go in. All right, once you have done that, you should be in the lobby. We should all be in our lobby. And actually, let me turn off my camera. I want to make sure that we don't get any kind of bandwidth interruptions. Hopefully we are good to go. So everybody should be in their lobby. Now this is a really awesome place to start. You'll notice as you look around that there's a bunch to look at. You'll notice a bunch of NPCs of the different people that we've kind of already talked about. You'll also notice that if we come up here, there is kind of a billboard here, if you will, that gives you a little bit of experience or a little bit of information, if you will, that just talks about being aware and curious and digging in a little bit deeper. Over here to the right, you'll notice that there's a little podium. And if we click on this podium, oh, let me get there, it's going to go ahead and open up an activity guide for us. Now it's 22 pages long. We definitely don't want to look at this now, but one thing I want to point out for any of our students that need additional assistance, if you need some additional assistance, if you have a visual impairment, or if you need some read aloud assistance, Immersive Reader is right here for you. If you have earbuds inside of your ears, this will go ahead and read the text aloud to you, or you can go ahead and highlight the text and make it do exactly what you need it to do, just to make it a little bit easier to read. And this is built in all throughout Minecraft. So we definitely love that that support is there for all of our students. So this is 22 pages long. Like I said, it's going to walk you through just all about the Good Trouble lessons and a little bit more information. So you'll notice that if you click on any of these NPCs, it will take you directly to their world. But where do we want to start? We are going to come over here to Congressman John Lewis, and we're going to right click on him. And let's see, he says, hi, I'm Congressman John Lewis, and he's going to be our tour guide throughout all of these Good Trouble lessons. He talks about that he has devoted his whole entire life to achieving equal rights for everybody. He believed that getting into good trouble, not bad trouble, but good trouble, is what builds an equitable world. And so if we click on any of these external resources, any of these links that are down here, it will give us some more information. But the first thing that we want to do, I'm just going to kind of come backwards here, is click on our chest here. And so I'm going to come over here and you'll see it says activity guides, please take one. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit closer. And it's going to open up our chest. And so this is our inventory guide. Now in my inventory, I already have placed my camera and my book and quill. So to get yours, what we want you to do, for those of you that are not familiar, we want you to go ahead and click E. And that's going to open up your inventory. And what we want you to search for, if you go ahead and type the word book, you're going to locate your book in Quill. And to put that into your inventory, you're just going to click it and then drag it over here and click again. And that's going to drop it right into your inventory. So once you have your book in Quill, actually, let me drop that back over here. You're going to then want to locate your camera and do the same thing. Go ahead and click it and then drag it over here into your inventory. And we need our camera because we want to document our journey as we're moving through the Good Trouble world. And we also want to have our book in Quill because we want to be able to journal our way through the Good Trouble world. Okay. So again, remember, we're going on vacation. We have to be able to take pictures and we want to be able to write about what it is that we experience. So once you have your camera and your book in Quill, we are ready to go. So the first place we're going to go, we're going to come back here. We're going to right click on Congressman John Lewis and click Get Started. And that's going to drop us right here in the middle of Black Lives Matter Plaza, right here in Washington, D.C. And I want you to take a look around. Now, in each of these worlds, remember I forgot to say we were taking off.
I told you she was fast, guys.
I hope nobody got whiplash from just that fast trek over to Washington, D.C. Hopefully everybody's hands and feet were inside and you all were seated and tray tables were up and in the locked position. So I want you to just kind of take a look around, notice and see what you see. You'll notice that there's a bunch of people around, there's signs, but right here we have Congressman John Lewis. So let's go ahead and click on him and let's just see what he says. He's going to teach us about Good Trouble and introduce us to some leaders through history who have built a better world by being catalysts for change. Now we have the option to go back to the lobby, which we're not going to do. We want to continue. Now, I just want to point out, if you ever get lost in the Good Trouble world, look for these big, tall green beacons. Or there's also, you'll notice there's going to be arrows on the ground, okay? So we're just going to come up here and we're going to locate John Lewis again here. And I'm going to have to practice flying so that I can move a little bit quicker. And I'm going to right click on John Lewis here. And he talks about that he marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. Over the years, he watched the civil rights movement continue to grow and evolve. So we can just click continue. So I want to give you some time to explore. You'll notice if you keep going down this street on the left-hand side, if you'll notice up there on the left, there's going to be a yellow beacon that says street art. That will give you an opportunity, if you click around on the NPC that's there, to build some street art. This is a depiction of the Black Lives Matter Plaza that's actually in Washington, D.C. And on the street there in Washington, D.C., right in front of the White House where the president lives, on the street there are these yellow letters that say Black Lives Matter. And this has not always been there. It just got spray painted or painted onto the street this past summer. As a result of some events that happened and the Black Lives Matter protests that occurred. And so you'll notice as you move through that there are a bunch of signs, but I want you to explore. I want you to take a look around, and we're going to give you about 7 to 10 minutes. Felicia's going to set a timer for us, and we're just going to give you some quiet work time to explore, to build some street art. Don't forget to take your pictures using your camera, so that you can go ahead and explore and document what it is that you see and what it is that you create on that street art sign.
All right, guys, you have 6 minutes and the time has started. And that is time, guys. Our time is up. Oh, I know we were having such a good time building our street art and exploring Black Lives Matter Plaza. Time to turn it back over to our tour guide, Miss Rachel, so that she can continue with the field trip.
All right, so here we are at the end of Black Lives Matter Plaza, and I just want to point out a little bit of information to you here, just a few little Easter eggs. I am definitely a storyteller. I love stories, and so one story that I want to share with you about Congressman John Lewis, who Felisa and I both actually had the pleasure and honor of meeting several times before he passed away last year. He was actually Felisa's congressman for her congressional district, and so we both had the pleasure of meeting him, and he's very near and dear to both of our hearts. But when he was younger, I believe he said when he was in the 4th grade, he went to the library to try and get a library card, not at his school, but at his local library where he lived in Alabama. And the librarian took a look at him and said, "You can't get a library card. Library cards are for white people, not for Black people." And so if you ever had the opportunity to hear him give a speech, or if you look up any of his speeches on YouTube, he talks a lot about reading and the importance of reading. He would always tell our students, and he always told younger people, make sure you read, 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 read. That was what he always said, read, read, read. And so when he got older, it was very important to him to make sure that he left his legacy and that he spent time not only reading, but writing as well. And so you'll notice that here on the side of the street here, there are some books that line these streets, line this street. And these are actually the titles of some of his books that he wrote. And here at the end of the street is actually an open book. So we are going to keep it moving down through here. And I know, Felisa, you just shot me a message. We're going to keep going, and I could click on any of these NPCs to see what he is saying. I guess I should have fast-tracked through here. I'll do it next time. I apologize. And you'll notice all the bookshelves. And we are landing. Where are we? Where have we landed? Look at this different land here. It looks a little bit different. Where are we?
So I believe we are in Pakistan now, guys. That flight was so quick. She got us here really fast. But we are in Pakistan.
We are. And again, remember what we said. Look for those green beams, right? So here is our green beam here. So we are going to go ahead and come over here and click on Malala. So we're going to just learn a little bit of information right here. We could click on John Lewis and just find out what he has to say here. He is just introducing us to Malala. She fought to have an equal right to education for girls and boys, women and men. And her good trouble began in 2012, which was not that long ago. So some of you boys and girls and young ladies and gentlemen have been around. Not all of you, some of you may not have been born then, but I'm sure a lot of you were. So this story here, you may want to do some further research on and get to know a little bit more information about Malala. And so here, if we click on Malala, she is going to give us some more information. She talks about being attacked for speaking out about the injustice, just because she wanted to get an equal education. She won the Peace Prize for her efforts. And so we're going to give you some more work time here to explore. I want you, if you turn this corner here where my little crosshairs are here, you're going to notice a little, not a surprise, but a little area that you can complete another activity. So look for that yellow beam. We'll give you about 7-ish minutes, Felisa.
Let's give them about 5 minutes here, okay, just to explore.
All right, and then we will bring you back together and we will fast track to the next country. So go ahead and take some time to explore and build. And I know if students are watching me play, they're like, just do this, just do this.
I was just thinking that, right? We're going to have to get some more Minecraft skills from the students.
I do.
I said we are.
I got the wrong size block.
We have about 30 seconds left, guys. So wherever you are in your build, you need to start getting ready to get on the plane because we are getting ready. This flight will be taking off momentarily. We're going to our next destination. You and your teachers will be able to come back to Pakistan to help Malala and her village finish building this school. So you definitely will be able to because it will be on your device. We have 11 seconds and we are taking off. Pilot, are you ready?
I'm ready. I feel like everybody should have taken their Dramamine before all this up and down, flying and landing. I hope nobody's got motion sickness yet.
And you know what? We forgot to get, I hope everyone turned in their permission slips. We forgot.
Oh, goodness. If not, we've just taken people's kids all across
the world, right?
All right, so I'm going to right click here on Congressman John Lewis, and here we go. This time we're going to fast travel, even though this was probably the place we didn't need to. But we are in South Africa, and this is where apartheid took place. And Felisa, tell us a little bit about apartheid.
So apartheid is the complete separation of races. So, and in South Africa, it was really prevalent, a separation between the Afrikaners, who were the white South Africans, and the blacks, really, but really everyone who was non-European. And so in this world, guys, you will notice the difference that there's complete separation and the road divides the races, white on one side and others on the other side. And I want you to notice the difference in the structures, the facilities, and how everything is separate. And then I want you to think about that as we go to the next world, how close in comparison the US South in the civil rights era was to apartheid in South Africa.
Absolutely. Thank you, Felisa. So even just looking at where we are right here on the screen, you can notice the left side of the screen, you have whites, and you can see even the buildings look different. The foliage, the grass looks a little bit different compared to the right side. So here we interact with Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela was actually arrested and spent 30 years in prison. And after he got out of prison, he actually became the first Black president of South Africa. Again, I just want to point out that if you click on any of these blue hyperlinks, they will take you to an external resource outside of Minecraft to learn more. So you have access to a ton of resources. So as we're sharing all of this information and sharing these stories with you, if something really resonates with you and you want to learn more, we've given you a ton of resources. So let's just give you a little bit of time, just a couple things I want you to pay attention to as you explore South Africa here. If you walk over to this side here, I want you to take a look at these signs that you notice on this side of the on these buildings here. And then as you scroll over or pan over to the right side, I want you to pay attention to the signs on these buildings. Specifically this little kind of, I don't even think that's brick, this little building here. So take a look at the signs on the buildings, notice what you see. Don't forget to take pictures so you can have those to upload to your book and quill so you can journal and document what you see. And at the end of this street, you'll notice a big tall statue of Stephen Biko. I want you to click on the activity there. And you have a space over to the left to build your own monument, to start to build your own monument. So we'll give you a little bit of time to explore and build here. And then Felisa will bring us back together in how many minutes?
In 5 minutes, so starting now. And I need you to meet Miss Ford back at the plane in 5 minutes. Stay in groups, guys. You know, we travel in pairs on our field trips. Everyone, you have 45 seconds. We will reload the plane in 45 seconds, taking off to our next destination. So wherever you are in your build, you need to bring it to a stopping point and you will be able to come back to this world as well. I know it's exciting, all of these destinations that we have visited today. and as just a reminder, as you are working in your book and quill, do not select the sign because that will close your book and quill and you will not be able to edit it anymore. The only time you select sign is when you are completely finished with editing your book. And I'm sure you're going to go back into Minecraft at a later date to finish working on this. All right, we're ready, Pilot.
Right, so let me show you just as what Felisa was talking about. So if I open my book and quill, right here at the bottom, don't click sign. Every time you open a new page, just click next and you can fill out your pages. When you're done, just click the X here. You won't click sign until you're completely done. All right, so everybody back on board. Let's go ahead and fast travel. We are going to the 1960s, back to the United States. We're met again by Congressman John Lewis and Dr. Martin Luther King, who were friends in real life. John Lewis actually met Dr. Martin Luther King. I got to get the story straight. It's like mixing with 5 other stories in my head because I'm so excited to tell you all of them. This is my favorite part of the world here, and I think it's Felisa's too. This part of the world here, we're going to guide you through because this world is really, I keep saying near and dear to our hearts, but it really is. John Lewis, when he was a teenager, before he decided to go to college in Alabama, he actually heard young Dr. Martin Luther King give a speech on the radio, and it was about civil rights and standing up for what was right, and he really wanted to get involved in the civil rights movement. So he heard Dr. Martin Luther King giving his speech on the radio in Atlanta, and he said, hey, I want to be a part of that. And he reached out, he wrote a letter to Dr. Martin Luther King, and Dr. Martin Luther King responded. And so that's how their connection, their friendship, their activism relationship really started together. And so you can click on the NPCs to learn a little bit more about both of them. We're just going to scroll over here, and I know every time I bump into one of those NPCs, I see Emily. She's like, oh, like I'm bumping into them. We're going to come over here and notice this library here. So this library, you'll notice this little sign over here to the left of the doors. Remember the story I told you about John Lewis and not being able to get a library card? Again, this library in the 60s was for whites only. You'll notice here, if we keep coming straight ahead here, and we are in Greensboro, North Carolina. Again, you'll notice that these buildings are for whites only. So as a young black person, or just as a black person, period, you were not allowed to go into these establishments, into these buildings in the 1960s. This right here represents a Woolworth's counter. So you can click on the NPC here of Dr. Martin Luther King and get the activity for this particular section. But we're going to continue into this Woolworth's lunch counter, and I want you to take a look at what's going on in here. So you'll notice that this is a sit-in here. This is what John Lewis, he and a bunch of people organized back at this time. They organized these sit-ins at these lunch counters where they would go in peace and sit in at these lunch counters and just peacefully request to be served, to ask, can they be served lunch? Can they be, you know, can I have a menu? Can I eat here? And they, in return, were told no. They were spit on, they were, you know, food was poured on them, they were beaten. This right here depicts the Greensboro Four. So these were 4 people that were, again, the same situation, turned down, they were beaten. And you'll notice that it was very segregated. It was very, you know, it just was not a good situation for Black people that were just demanding equal rights to be able to sit down and eat lunch like everybody else. Okay, Felisa, feel free to jump in if I'm missing anything.
You're doing a great job. Very good, very informative.
So if I keep coming, and we'll come back to the bus, I want to come over here to this water fountain here, because you'll notice that the segregation did not just happen in restaurants. It also happened in simple things like water fountains on the street. So if you were walking down the street as a Black person and you got thirsty, you had to stop to locate the colored water fountains. And you'll notice that these are dirty, they're not kept. There was probably dirty water floating around. It may not even have been clean, drinkable water if the water fountain was even working at all. As opposed to, if I come over here to this side of the street, the white water fountains that were upkept and, you know, had nice, clean, flowing water. Okay.
And this was a part of the Jim Crow South. These were laws. Jim Crow were laws that separated the South, similar to those apartheid laws we saw in South Africa, the separation, but it was really a stark separation into access for blacks and whites.
Yes. And so here we have a bus, and if you remember during our session, our game show that we had this morning, we interacted with someone, or we met someone named Rosa Parks. And so here on the bus, oh, you guys see my Minecraft skills are not up to par. Here on the bus, we interact with Rosa Parks. And Rosa Parks, if you're not familiar, was coming home from work one day, and she got on the bus and she took a seat. Now the bus was segregated. Black people had to sit on the back of the bus and white people sat on the front of the bus. So she was sitting in the black section of the bus, and because the bus was full, actually the bus was not full, but a white person wanted to sit in her seat and she refused to give up her seat because she was tired, and she was arrested. And it started the Montgomery Bus Boycott. And you can read all about that and about Rosa Parks and her life by clicking on those links. But it started this whole bus boycott, and because she stood up for what was right and not giving up her seat on the bus, she was arrested, and it caused, she was a positive catalyst for change. And it started that bus boycott. So you can learn all about that, okay? So we're going to keep going, and this right here is the part of the tour that makes me cry every single time. So I'm going to try and
every single time. Yes.
Not cry. And the funny thing is, I have not seen it in real life. I've only seen pictures. Felisa has seen it in real life. So
I've actually taken students on this tour, guys, and we have actually marched with Congressman Lewis. I've taken students and we've marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge with Congressman Lewis for every year they would do an anniversary of Bloody Sunday. So yeah, all of this is just so near.
Oh, I think you're muted, Felisa. You just went out. When you said near, it muted.
Go ahead, Natasha.
Okay. So I'm trying to be dramatic as I turn this corner so you can see it, but our students probably already have. So here we have the Edmund Pettus Bridge, okay? We are now in Selma, Alabama, and you'll see that this is the depiction of Bloody Sunday. And here we have another civil rights activist that you can click on to get some more information. I'm going to keep going, but you'll notice that there are protests happening. And what happened on Bloody Sunday was a march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And I wonder, should I fly across this bridge? I really want you guys to have.
I would walk across this one so that it renders itself.
Yeah, I've clicked twice. I'm moving super, now I'm frozen. So I know students, you guys are on your individual computers and it's moving for you. Uh-oh. Where am I now? Do you see what just happened? Oh, here I go. Okay. I'm like, what just happened? All right, so we're moving across the bridge. And so on Bloody Sunday, John Lewis and several hundred protesters, protesters and marchers decided to march across this bridge. And I'm going to just walk you over to the side, and I want you to notice that there is water. This bridge is hundreds of miles up, and not hundreds of miles, I'm sorry, hundreds of feet up in the air. There is water on both sides of this bridge. So once you start walking across this bridge, you're making a decision to go across. And so these protesters and marchers led by Congressman John Lewis went ahead and marched across this bridge, and they knew that they were going to be met by opposition on the other side. And when I say opposition, I mean the police. And they were marching for equal rights. They wanted to have the equal rights of everybody else. They wanted to be treated fairly. They wanted to be able to do everything that everybody else could do. And so as you can see, by the time they got to the edge of the bridge, to the end of the bridge, they stopped and they asked for the sergeant. And I actually just finished reading a book on this over the weekend, a graphic novel called March. And they got to the end of the bridge and they asked to speak to the sergeant. They wanted to speak to the police sergeant just to get some peaceful resolution. And they said, no, you have to turn around. If you don't turn around, you will be arrested. And here we have young Congressman John Lewis. You'll notice that he has hair on his head. This is a younger version of Congressman John Lewis here. And so they refused him the right, him and his protesters and marchers, they refused him the right to speak to the sergeant and just said, if you don't turn around, you guys will be arrested. And before they could even blink, they released the dogs and they started to get beat. And so they had to try, I'm sure some of them, I was not there obviously, but I'm sure some of them turned around and ran back across the bridge to safety. But on this day, John Lewis was beat across the head. He had a concussion that day. And it was called Bloody Sunday because they were beaten so bad that a lot of them had blood on them at the end of this protest in this march. And so this here, young Congressman John Lewis knew he was going to be arrested that day. And he has a backpack on, and I'm going to see if I can go around him while I'm telling this story so you can see his backpack. But he knew he would be arrested this day, and in his backpack, he had an apple, an orange, a toothbrush, a tube of toothpaste. He keeps turning around. I think you could see it. And 2 books. And he said that he wanted to make sure that he had something to eat, that he was able to brush his teeth, and that he could read while he was in jail because he knew he was going to be arrested. And so again, that goes back to the importance that he always talked about reading. He knew he would be arrested. He wanted to have something to read while he was in jail. And so Felisa, like she said, actually has marched with him and students across this bridge for several years, consecutive years, on the anniversary of Bloody Sunday. And when he died last year, they actually stopped traffic across this bridge and they marched his casket across this bridge in a moment of peace. So super powerful, super impactful. And you can see these dogs and the police, this is the opposition that they were met by. And just imagine if you were marching with him, what would you have done? Would you have continued to march? And it wasn't just Black people marching across the bridge. It was white people, it was old people, young people, Asian people, Indian people, people of all races and ethnicities that wanted to stand with him in solidarity for what was right. So think about what you would have done. Think about what you would have done, okay? So we're gonna keep on going. And we're gonna stop here. And Felisa, keep me on track with my time too, because you know.
Yes, it's about time for ours to start our reflections.
Okay. So I'm going to fast travel to India, and then I need to get to the end. Where's our activity here?
So guys, you all can come and explore India. You can ask your parents if you can travel to India. I don't know if they'll let you do it by yourself, but just asking just in case. And you can come visit Gandhi in India, and then we can move on to 1800s Britain to see what Emmeline Pankhurst is doing. She was fighting for women's rights in the 1800s in India. In London, England, fighting for women's rights to vote.
All right, so we are going to fast travel back to Black Lives Matter. Well, I thought we were. Wait a minute.
If you click on him again, we may be able to fast track to Black Lives Matter.
I think my gate is open because I've already completed. Oh, it's going to make me do it again. Let's see.
All right, so find Congressman Lewis at the end, and he will escort us back to present day Washington, D.C. Guys, we know this was a quick flyover. Because we are on a time schedule and we want to make sure we get you home in time for dinner.
There we go. So here we go. So I'm just flying up across Black Lives Matter Plaza. This concludes our flight here. Again, we just wanted to make sure that we exposed you to the different worlds in in the Good Trouble world. This is where Congressman John Lewis stood at the end of his life, about a week before he actually passed away last year. He stood here and he gave a charge to to everybody. He actually wrote a long essay that you can read. If I come here, is it here or is it in the next?
It's here.
If you learn more and watch the video, there's a video that somebody made reading his actual charge that he left for everyone. And he's just encouraging everyone, young, old, black, white, no matter what ethnicity you are, no matter where you live, what country you live in, to really just think about what you can do to get into good trouble and be a positive catalyst for change in your communities. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be old. You don't have to have a lot of money. If something is not right, there's a quote that says, if you see something, say something. If something's not right, stand up for what's right and make a change and do what's right. So we really, really want you to take some time to reflect. So if you will pull up that form again, you should still have it open, or your teacher will still have it open for you. Go ahead and enter your first name, and we want to know which world stood out to you. Which of these NPCs, which of these people that you've learned about today, I know we only gave you a little smidgen of information, but which leader do you want to learn more about? Or maybe there's somebody in Canada that's even more near and dear to you that you want to learn more about. And I know Felice is going to pull up some more information.
Absolutely.
So
I will go ahead and share, Natasha, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing now. There you go.
Okay. I thought I was. Hold on just a minute. Let me see. Make sure I have what I need.
And while she's pulling that up, yeah, just let us know in the form what you want to learn more about, what you are excited to learn more about, and so we can just continue that conversation. We're just so excited to be able to share all this information with you guys.
All right, so are you seeing the reflections and real world connections screen?
Yep.
All right, guys, so you have been around the world literally in a day, and we have visited some amazing people, and thank you to our pilot who got us back safely. So we want you to continue this conversation, and we're going to focus on reflections. And you took pictures throughout your journey today. Hopefully you made notes, or if you need to go back and visit these worlds with your parents' permission, do that. But in your book and quill, you will document how you are feeling about what resonated with you, what stood out to you most about what you saw in these various worlds, and how can you make connections to present day world and even to positive changes that have happened in Canada, people that have stood up for good trouble and gotten into good trouble, standing up for the rights of others. If you can identify someone, put them in your journal, their name, what they did and how they got into good trouble. Who did they stand up for? So that could be a reflection in your journal as well. So we've identified some people that we wanted to know more about who are from Canada, so that to help you begin that conversation and make those connections. We have Autumn Peltier, who is a water walker. She is a teenager, young, just like many of you, and she started being an activist at a young age. And because of her activism, she won awards from We Day. She won a We Day award fighting for clean water, not only for the First Nations communities, but also for underprivileged and underdeveloped communities around the world, because we know it's so important to stand up for those who can't. Another person we want to connect with is Jean Augustine, who was an African Canadian advocate and activist who stood up for many social justice causes. And because of her legislation, February is now designated as Black History Month in Canada. So hats off to these amazing people and women, amazing women. Next week begins the beginning of Women's History Month. And we have Viola Desmond. Many of you already know who she is, but she definitely needs to go on the list. The list that we provide is just a beginning. By no means is it exhaustive. We want you to add people to this list. She challenged segregation in Nova Scotia, Canada. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but you know, that's that Southern drawl and that Southern dialect. but these are just a few people that we've identified. You can continue this conversation with your teacher, and thank you so much for sharing time. We have other activities that are available for you. You can create presentations. We have a Wakelet that you can contribute to. So we are so excited and can't wait to see what you have to share with us. And with that, we will turn it back over to Emily.
I love it. What a journey through time, journey through history, journey through the world by two fabulous ladies here today with us. Now, before we do close things out, we have a couple minutes. So using that form, I know there's a few people here. I think Natasha, Felisa, are you game to do a few more shout outs from these amazing classes and students hanging out with us? I see lots of nods.
Absolutely.
So using that form, let us know your favorite part of today's lesson. We have been here for over an hour and a half. Can you believe how fast time went as we were exploring and learning? Let us know in that form. It's there in the chat, the cc.page/mygoodtrouble. Let us know what your favorite part of today was. And Felisa and Natasha, go ahead, do some shout outs as those are coming in.
So let me shout out to Arga in Miss Wheeler's class. She said that Mahatma Gandhi, he was a fighter of the for the religion that she has today. And so we want to shout out both of them and that good trouble. We also have Caleb from Miss Alexander's class, and he just said he's thanking us for the vacation that we provided him today. So Caleb, we were glad to take you on this awesome vacation where hopefully you were able to connect with some of these activists. We also had Nathan. He said that he liked learning about John Lewis and would like to learn more about Rosa Parks. So very good. We have more coming in. Madison said her favorite part was reading about the people's stories. And
I was going to say, I want to give a shout out to Sharuthi. I hope I'm saying your name right. He or she, I apologize, wants to learn more about Pakistan because a leader in Pakistan stuck out to them. Malala seems like a strong woman at a young age. She absolutely is.
Absolutely.
And she's still young. Woman at a young age, and I think she is she's a very interesting person because of her action and the consequence that people gave her, even though she wants the good. Absolutely.
All right, so Robbie said that his favorite part was going to the Black Lives Matter road, and when we did the street art. And Alexandra from Miss Alexandra's class said that her favorite part was traveling to visit Rosa Parks. So they have enjoyed this. Let's see, someone else said that their favorite part was just learning, we said about Congressman Lewis and Gandhi. So they were happy to meet all of these activists who were ordinary people that did some extraordinary things, just like all of us are able to do. Bless you, bless you.
I was getting ready to say something and then the sneeze came. I just want to say, so for all of you that are saying that you want to learn more about these specific people, I love it. Like I was sitting here as Felisa was wrapping up, and I think Emily saw, because she was like looking at me, like I just started, like I've got tissues, I was crying just reading your comments coming in. What we gave you today was just like the tip of the iceberg. We have so many great lessons planned for you guys. So share with your teachers like who you want to learn more about, because we have tons of resources for your teachers that they can pull down and just pour into you guys and give you some more information. Eldo said his favorite part was seeing the world in one day. Mine too. Where
Mine
else?
too.
The world in like 9 minutes.
Right.
Muhan, I want to pronounce your name right. Let me get it right. Muhammad, I think I said it right, said Rosa Parks, because even though it was an everyday thing, she turned it into one of the most, if not the most, historic moments. Think about how tired you are at the end of the day. Like you guys are staring, if you're in school or if you're virtual school, you're staring at your teacher all day, or you're staring at a computer all day. Or think about even on a Saturday, if you're in sports or something, like how tired you are at the end of the day. And you come home and you just, or you get in your parents' car, or you get on the bus, or you get in a taxi cab, and you just, and you just want to sit down and you just want to get home. Like you are so tired, that's how she felt. She'd been at work all day and she just wanted to get home. And imagine somebody walking up to you and saying, get up, I want your seat. And she just looked up and she said, no, I'm tired. I'm not getting up. And because she said no, she was arrested. Like imagine like the most tired you've ever felt in your whole life and somebody demanding that you get up out of your seat. So yes, you hit the nail on the head with that one. And I know we didn't get to India and we didn't talk about Gandhi and we didn't get to England, which is where I was born. Well, you guys don't know because you don't know me, but I was born in England. So we didn't get to talk about Emmeline Pankhurst, but she was a catalyst for change in getting women to be able to vote. So a long time ago, women were not even allowed to vote. And so she was a big change for that. She stood up and she caused a lot of trouble.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And she wasn't always so quiet, y'all. She wasn't always the prim and proper lady. She stirred up some trouble. Yeah. So you will learn about her.
So learn about Gandhi, and in our research of putting these lessons together, we learned a lot too. So we had a lot of research to do ourselves, but learn about Gandhi, learn about Emmeline Pankhurst and the good trouble that they got into.
And learn about your own activists, people in your community, your neighborhood, your region, or your province that have been catalysts for positive change and have gotten into good trouble right there where you are. Just know that we wanted to make sure that there were reflections of all of us, because there are people from the very beginning of time that have been doing great things to stand up for the rights of others. And so let's continue the talk, continue the conversation, and you guys continue to get into good trouble. Thank you for going on this journey with us for flight, 747, good trouble.
Nigel said, thank you for the inspiration. The other thing I just want to point out for all of our females that are on this call, I just have to, because next week is Women's History Month. Thank you, Felisa. I was about to say Women's Empowerment Month. Women's History Month. Young ladies, you can do anything, and this goes to anybody on the call, but because next week is Women's History Month, you can do anything that anybody else can do. And for anybody that's on this call, men, women, boys, girls, don't let anybody tell you what you can't do. Yes, we may have given you some inspiration today, but you guys can do anything. Yes, this world, this beautiful Minecraft world is here. You guys can be gamers, you can be coders. You guys could build the next good trouble world with like amazing people that we don't even know about yet. And me and Felisa and Emily will be like 80 years old and be able to see these amazing people. Like we'll be in our rocking chairs, rocking back and forth, seeing the good trouble world that you guys built. So like, put your mind to it, and you guys can do anything. So I love that you thanked us for the inspiration, but you guys really inspire us every single day. So Nigel, thank you for that comment, but it's really about you guys.
And students, I want to thank you guys for bearing with us. As you see, we are not gamers by trade. That is not what we do. But we did our best. Right, all we can do is a couple of blocks wide and high for our bills. And I know you guys have created masterpieces, and I can't wait to see what you build in these worlds and your how you pay tribute to these heroes and heroines and your bills. So please have your teachers share that with us. You share it with us. There's a Wakelet that we're providing for you all to be able to share what you build. We cannot wait and share your reflections with us. This is going to be a global Wakelet for students all around the world to be able to share all of the good trouble that they're creating and building. So thank you so much for everything.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the plane is now coming down. What do they say? Please put your seats back in the upright position. So your tables, right. All your trash has now been collected, and we have landed smoothly. So make sure you check the overhead thing, get your luggage, and we can't wait to see what you guys create. Thank you so much.
I love it. Students, this is where you are going to find your teacher, whether the teacher is in front of you in person or somewhere in the online environment, whether that's Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, D2L, Blackboard, Brightspace, wherever you connect with your teacher. look at them, send them a message and say, hey, I'm done. What am I to do next? We have this recorded, so you can always come back and rewatch it. Or if you have paused, you can play again and we will still be here. You can go back and find all of those great tips and how to find those different worlds here in the Good Trouble world. Everybody at home, thank you so much. We can't wait for the next time we see you here for another co-taught lesson. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.